This is Outlaw, a 2-year-old Appaloosa colt. This is me walking him around, getting ready to do some stuff to test out. I was jumping and petting him and reassuring him everything was okay, just to see how spooky he was to test my waters. Petted his back and his belly. I cut out the video of his belly because there was a dog and the camera got messed up, but I'm jumping next to him, petting on him, reassuring him everything's okay. After I was satisfied with that, we moved on to me shaking my rope on the ground in front of him just to see how he reacts to stuff. I had him moving away from pressure on me, so I know when I get on, he's gonna listen. He has about 45 days on him, maybe more, but I got called to work with him, and I said of course. I was touching his flank a little bit, just trying to see how he reacted. I did have acrylic nails on, so his skin is twitching a lot, plus the flies were driving him nuts. You will see later on he does start licking and chewing. He got more comfortable with me. But right now I was just scratching him, loving him, touching him. I leaned on him a little bit, just put some pressure on him to see how he'd react. He did amazing. Yes, I know this clip wasn't very well. And then we switched to saddling. So I started rubbing the saddle pad on both sides of him and making sure he knew that it was going to go on his back. And once I did throw it over, not much of a spook. There was a little jump when I put it on the opposite side, but I put it on this side for now and walked him around to see how he'd react. This was my first time working with him, so I didn't know what he'd do on anything, so I kind of just had to be careful and play it by ear. He did great when I was walking him around. I did have a saddle and the round pin too. I did lunge him before I got on too, I promise. And then I was just messing around with the saddle pad, threw it on and off quite a few times. See, he spooked a little bit there. Not much of a big deal. I just threw it on and off. I almost threw it over him, and I was really worried that I was going to, but I didn't. Finally, we got saddling. I did put it on both sides. I like to do one, as you do to one side, you do to the other. So, once I got it on him, he spooked at the stirrup, so I showed him it's not that scary. I gave him tons of love. You'll see that in the next clip. Yep, tons of love. Reassured that was not going to hurt him and nothing was going to happen. I was giving him tons of attention and everything he deserved. I did it to the other side too. He did jump a little bit. He's pretty jumpy and squirrely, but it's okay. He did learn at the end of the day that it does not hurt you. It's not going to hurt you. I was still dropping it over there and he stopped reacting to it really. Yes, he was twitching, but there was a lot of flies. Then I lunged him with the saddle on to make sure he wasn't going to act up. Yes, the dogs did get moved eventually. I am so sorry about that. He's a good looking horse, bred very well. Lunging him, I kept making him switch directions. Right here I had a little bit of issue, and then we got it handled. We didn't have a lunge line at the time, so I was just using my halter, and I wasn't gonna let him loose because it was hard to catch him in the first place. No dogs were injured in this, and no horses were bit in this, I promise. We did eventually put the dogs up. Not this day, I don't think, but I wasn't worried about the dogs. He wasn't worried about the dogs, so, and plus the owners. But it's okay. I got him to whoa, gave him some reassuring. He did amazing, and then I started putting my weight into the stirrups. I accidentally spooked him when I touched his face, but I would just stand in the stirrup for a second and then get down. Give him tons of pats and reassurance, and I did it on both sides. He did try to walk off there, but I handled it. It was okay. It wasn't nothing crazy. We just repeated this process over and over and over again until he got the hang of it. This time I swung my leg over to see how he'd react. Same as this time. Not much of a reaction. I mean, he jumped a little bit there, but nothing too major. I was giving him tons of love and affection for this. Yes, I was talking to the owner. I wiggled the saddle to make sure he didn't spook, and making sure he was okay with me touching under the saddle pad, touching his belly, touching his legs, everything. Then we switched to me picking up the feet. He picked up his back foot, but he didn't let me keep it. Again, I was talking to the owner. We were having a conversation. she was telling me how stubborn he is about picking up his certain feet. He'll pick up the diagonals of his left and back right, his front left and his back right. He'll pick them up just fine. He tried to walk off from me, corrected it, gave him reassuring. This is the leg I had most trouble with. He absolutely fought me as hard as he wanted. I finally did get it up. This is the opposite leg, but I did eventually get that leg I wanted to get up. I do not remember if it was on video. I think it is. Oh yes, I forgot. It's right here. I did eventually get that leg up. It took a little bit, but I got it with some strength. I put my entire body into getting that up. He wasn't fighting me about it. He kept it up for me. He just didn't want to pick it up. He is a very thick horse, if you cannot tell. This is me switching him to a smooth snaffle. I know they have the nutcracker effect, but I did not know that at the time. I have learned to use a softer bit that does not have that. And yeah, but I was bridling him. He took the bit like a champ. He didn't fight me. Nothing. It did take a little bit because he didn't want to open his mouth, but he did eventually. He didn't nod his head at me. He didn't fight me. Nothing, which was really good. And I was very proud of him for that. And I also do now know not to ride a snaffle in a split ear. But this is also what the owners had for me to ride in. I was going to bring my own stuff, but they told me that I was fine, so I didn't worry about it. I started walking him around just to make sure he was okay with the bit and everything in the saddle was fine. And then I turned him and I tightened up the saddle. And I asked the owner if she wanted me to get on or not. I said, this is fine with me. I'm satisfied with this, but if you want me to get on, I will. I did eventually get on. And I was very proud with our ride. Nothing went wrong. No buck, no rear, no nothing. No bite. He was good. I was talking to the owner here, tightening the cinch, and looking around, making sure he didn't have no signs of stress or anything like that. These stirrups were really short for me. I did not adjust them, but there was nothing I could do about that at the time. I swung my leg over, sat down. He tried to walk off. It was okay, though. I wasn't too worried about it. I did have spurs on. I didn't know how he was going to react to spurs. He did okay this ride, and he was just fine. He does not back up. I tried to get him to back up there, and it didn't happen. So this is us walking. We did a lot of walking, and then we switched to a trot, and this was this direction for a little bit. He has an amazing trot. This is one beautiful horse. And then we switched directions back to walking and trotting. Lots of walking and trotting, just to see how he reacts. He is a little bit of a lazier horse. We switched directions again eventually, and we just did lots and lots of I did posting and I did sit the trot just to see how he reacts to both. He did very good. See, switching directions here. We were just trotting around, not much to it, nothing fancy. We did eventually lope too that day, when I did finally get him into a lope. It was a bit of a struggle, but we got it eventually. Took a while and some convincing of him to lope, but we got it. That's really, it was hard. He was very, very lazy. Doesn't help he's a very big horse in that small round pen that is going to be bigger soon. But when I got him into a lope, he had a smooth, big gait, and it was beautiful. This is him long trotting, and then finally into a lope. My seat wasn't very good here, and I was a little tight on the reins, but to be fair, I'm a barrel racer still working on learning stuff, and I'm not very good with split reins yet. Plus, he needs to be rode two-handed. Back to a lope. I was trying to keep my hands out of his mouth and let him lope out, but I kept getting in his mouth because he kept scaring me with the round pin walls. I was scared I was going to hit them with my ankle. But after that, I stayed out of his mouth and he got into a lope, and it was pretty good, but he kept breaking down since he's a little lazier, on the lazier side. And I was quite satisfied with this ride. He didn't give me no trouble. He was really good. He got tons of pats, and afterwards he got tons of attention. I finally just walked him out after we loped a little more. This was amazing. That lope he had, I did have to give him a little encouragement. I did not hit him hard, I promise. No reaction. He just loped for me. I gave him 2 smooches and he didn't listen, so I gave him a little tap. After we loped for a little while, we walked out. I don't think I put that clip in, but we walked out. We woed again. And then we finally untacked, and when I untacked him, he had no issue. He was in a halter. I switched him to a halter in the middle of the round pin, and he had no issue. I was very proud of this horse.